It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for mayhem. Welcome to Wednesday Night Mayhem, live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Hello, everybody. It's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We're hopefully awaiting Michael Bullock. If he comes, great. If he doesn't, well, then I guess we'll see him tomorrow night. We're just going to dive right on in. We're not going to waste too much time. We're going to start it off with AEW Dynamite and the TNT Championship match. Starts us off Darby Allin versus Joey Janela, and Darby Allin successfully defends the title in 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Very good start to the show. Solid fight. Hard-hitting action, no doubt about it. For me, I'm going to give this about 3 stars. Like I said, it was a fun little match. Good time. I think the match could have gone a little longer, but for almost 10 minutes, not bad. I wish they could have given us 15 minutes. This would have been a lot more better, but 3 stars for what it was worth. Anthony, it's yours.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, you're absolutely right. 3 to 3.25 stars is my rating. This was Joey Janela's best match in AEW to date. He looked more technically sound than he ever has, but Darby Allin's contributions cannot be ignored. Both men worked hard to make this an entertaining opener. Were there a few sloppy moments? Yeah, but that comes with any match that keeps the kind of pace this one had. They barely slowed down from the moment the bell rang until the ref counted to 3. Unfortunately, the quick pace led to certain big moves not being sold enough. A code red from the top rope and a pile driver are moves people use as finishers. They shouldn't be sold like a simple body slam. Even with those criticisms, this bout was fun and engaging. This is the match that could get Janela put into regular rotation on Dynamite. So 3 to 3.25 stars. I definitely agree with the rating. A great way to jump off Dynamite. So with that being said, let's move on to our next match, and I'll start it off.
All right, and indeed, it was a tag team fight, as it was Lee Johnson and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes going up against Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi, I guess it is?
Benino.
Okay, Cesar Bononi. I don't think I know Peter Avalon very well, but Cesar Bononi I've never heard of.
Well, I never heard of him either.
Yeah, so this must be his first time ever. But whatever the case may be, Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes wins the match in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 3. 2.5 to 2.75. The pace in this match was faster than it needed to be, so this bout ended up suffering from a bigger lack of selling than the Lee looked good getting his first win on Dynamite. He was crisp, more seasoned, breathing heavily during the match interview, but that does not necessarily mean he was by the match. Some AEW make every match stealer when something traditional would serve ours in the right way. Congratulations, Johnson, for he had gone 29 previously. Wow. So I have 2 others. Say, MF, your thoughts.
2.5, I'll give the rating. I thought it was a solid match. I thought it could have been a lot more better than what it was, but at the end of the day, it served its purpose. There was really nothing more to add here. So next up we had was Pac versus Ryan Namath. Pac won the match in 4 minutes and 8 seconds. I really don't feel like I kind of felt like this was more of a squash type fight. So, unfortunately, I don't feel like giving a rating here. Look, Pac looked good. Pac looked amazing. Namath did alright, but at the end of the day, Pac was Pac. Namath hasn't really done anything that's really wowed me or anything like that. Anthony, I hate to say this, but this is close to a no rating to a dud for me, and actually worst fight of the night.
Yeah, worst fight of the night. This match was designed solely to make Pac look dangerous, and in that regard, the bout accomplished its goal. Pac looked dominant, and Nemeth sold well to make him look even better. Nick Nemeth, as you know, is the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler, and he both moves and looks like him. So comparisons are going to be made until he finds a way to stand out on his own. That said, he looked good here. This was the third match of the night that did not feature interference of any kind. It makes it clear AEW was relying on that trope too much in recent months. So I agree, MF. No rating here. So not much more to say. Let's move on to the next match. And yeah, beforehand, something very newsworthy happened, and it's something we've been clamoring for quite a while, and we finally got it here tonight.
Go ahead, talk about it. I'll give you the moment. It's you.
Let's just say the Inner Circle is one man down, but not in the way you think. It led into a match with MJF and Chris Jericho, and well, MF can set that up in a moment, but prior to the match, Sammy Guevara had a backstage confrontation that ended with Sammy Guevara punching MJF in the gut. And before this match, MJF told Jericho what happened and had his ribs taped up as if they were broken. And with that being said, for all intents and purposes, MF, I think Sammy Guevara has turned babyface and has quit the Inner Circle. Big news.
Oh yeah.
I think a babyface turn could do wonders for him. It just might.
Oh yeah. He's got the look of a babyface.
Certainly.
I mean Sammy Guevara, if he plays this right, he could be one of the most overed guys in AEW.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of that match, it was the Acclaim, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. They went up against the aforementioned MJF and Chris Jericho, and in the corners was Santana, Ortiz, Wardlow, and Jake Hager. Yes, Sammy Guevara was not there. And by the end of it, the winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 4 seconds was Chris Jericho and MJF. They continue to roll as they are now the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team titles. They won it in the Battle Royale, and that's really where you could say the chink in the armor started with the Inner Circle. And tonight it seems like it's coming ahead, Anthony, like you said.
What was the time of that fall again?
9:04.
9:04. I'll give it a solid 3 stars for the effort. This match had a much better pace than the previous tag team encounter. They slowed down when they needed to and sold for each other when they needed to. MJF and Jericho used some classic heel cheats during this bout that haven't been common in years. It was a fun throwback. As always, MJF played his role brilliantly. The Acclaimed has a lot of talent, but Caster and Bowen still have a little work to do on some of the basics before they are ready for the tag title scene. Sammy Guevara quitting the stable was predictable, but necessary for this storyline to move forward. MJF's master plan is slowly starting to unfold. Solid 3 stars. MF, your thoughts?
Solid 3. Agreed. I thought everything was done really well. Really nothing more can be had here. All right, guys. Now we had the tournament, the Eliminator tournament. This, everybody remembers what's happened. 16-person tournament. 16 women, 8 from Japan, 8 from the USA, and it's to determine the number 1 contender for the AEW Women's World Title, and the champion, Hikaru Shida. She's going to be waiting at the end of this to find out who her first opponent's going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, we had ourselves a first round match. Lila Hirsch, one-on-one with Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa wins and advances in 9 minutes and 2 seconds. I'm going to say, solid match. Very good battle. Great fight. I enjoyed it. 3 stars for me. but the right person went over. Even though Layla Hirsch looked really good, and this was a good outcome for her, but the sky's the limit. Thunder Rosa is one of the favorites that could be there at the end, and obviously I'm happy that she goes through. She deserves it. She's one of the top in the women's division when it comes to the AEW women. Her, Britt Baker, Ryu, Nyla Rose. You could talk about Serena Deeb, and then that's just in the U.S. side. The women's side on the Japan side, I know some of them, not all, but there's some heavy hitters in the Japan end. So this tournament could be one for the ages. So without a doubt, very good match. 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Before I get into my thoughts on it, I actually have I believe I have the bracket up here. Yeah. I actually have it up. And let's take a look at it quickly. Well, in the U.S. we have Leela Hirsch squaring off. Well, we already had Thunder Rosa and Leela Hirsch. We're gonna see how about this, MF? Serena Deeb, who is the NWA Women's Champion. She's going to be going up against someone we haven't seen in almost a year. The inaugural AEW Women's Champion, Riho. Ooh, that's got intrigue written all over it. And I think we're going to get that next week. And then from there, we're going to see Tay Conti square off against Nyla Rose. And Dr. Britt Baker squaring off against Anna Jay. And that's on the U.S. side. In the Japanese side, you got Yuka Sakazaki against Mai Saruga. Vinay against Emi Sakura. For those of you who don't know, Emi Sakura, the one who dresses up as Freddie Mercury when she makes her entrance, which is kind of awesome. Maki Ito against Ryu Mizunami. And Aja Kong. Now, you remember Aja Kong. She was a part of that women's traditional Survivor Series elimination match back in 1995, MF, where she and 2 other Japanese gals teamed up with Bertha Faye against Alundra Blaze and 3 other Japanese partners on her team. And Aja Kong was the sole survivor. Yes,
I remember that. And Aja Kong actually was a legit threat to Alundra Blaze.
Absolutely.
She gave Alundra a run for her money a couple of times when the WWF Women's title was on the line. I remember that very well. Alundra Blaze went over, but Aja Kong, man, I think she was in her early 20s. So you got to think about it. She's probably in her 40s right now.
Oh, yeah.
Near 50. And she's still wrestling at a high level, still to this day.
Wily veteran. And
yeah.
I mean, but then again, we're seeing, I mean, the old saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I'll tell you what, I mean, we're seeing a lot of these legendary female wrestlers, still doing things at a high level. I mean, clear example. Look at Impact Wrestling. Look at Jazz. I mean, Jazz is still doing things at a high level. I mean, her with Jordan Grace and the ODB.
Victoria at the Royal Rumble. And now she's 50. She wrestled at 49 years old in the Royal Rumble.
Who was that?
Victoria.
Oh, wow. Pushing 50.
She's 50. Her birthday, I believe, was either yesterday or today. She's 50, boys.
My God, that's something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of these legendary female wrestlers that we grew up watching during either our childhood or in our adolescent days, high school, junior high, high school days. Jazz is 48. Jazz is 48, and look at her in Impact Wrestling. I mean, her with Jordan Grace and ODB, and they'll be squaring off against Susan, Deonna Purrazzo, and Kimber Lee this Saturday night as part of that Impact Plus special, No Surrender. I usually don't watch the Plus specials because I don't really have Impact Plus. I only go for pay-per-views, but that's another story. And Victoria, well, today's her birthday, actually. She turned 50 today. Victoria. Today is her actual birthday, her 50th birthday for Victoria. I mean, you wouldn't know it looking at her. I mean, she still looks great. And as far as Aja Kong goes, if I can find it, she's 50. So, man, incredible. And oh, by the way, all four Japanese matches on the women's side will air exclusively on AEW's YouTube channel this Monday night at 7 Eastern. So if you want to see those Japanese matches from the Japanese side of this women's tournament, you'll have to go to AEW's YouTube channel to find that Monday night, 7 Eastern. As far as this match goes, with Rosa and Hirsch, other than 2 or 3 moments where it looked like there was a timing issue, these two women put on, up to the point, the fight of the night. This was about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I mean, Hirsch's technical ability combined with Rosa's unique style to create a great performance. They had great chemistry, and it would be nice to see them get a chance for a rematch down the line. Hirsch is still new to AEW and has time to establish herself. Even with the losses she has suffered, she has looked impressive in each outing. And it wouldn't be surprising to see her get a push at some point. But, we'll see. But for right now, Rosa advances, and she will meet either Serena Deeb or Riho in the next round. And it doesn't matter, MF. Whoever comes out of Deeb and Riho, one of those two against Thunder Rosa. I mean, we already know the history of Rosa and Deeb. I mean, going back to the NWA. I mean, it was Serena Deeb who took the NWA women's title from Thunder Rosa some time ago. But we've already seen it. I kind of want to see Riho go over, even though I love Serena Deeb. You know my love affair with Serena Deeb, but I would love to see Thunder Rosa and Riho. How intriguing would that be, MF?
That would be a very interesting match because that's 2 totally different styles. Because you got Thunder Rosa with her Lucha Libre style and Riho that has really, I want to say it's more of a Japanese, I don't want to call, it's not really it's really more of a high-flying, acrobatic, but her style of wrestling is so unique. What a clash of styles that would be. Mexico versus Japan in that matchup. That would be unbelievable. What a match that would be if that match happens.
Yes, it would. And there's also an intriguing scenario. I don't know if it's going to happen, but you never know. It could. Imagine if we see Tay Conti and Anna Jay have to square off.
Oh,
considering their besties, their BFFs. I mean, I follow Anna Jay on Instagram, and let me tell you, I've seen those baby girls, and
they're together. I saw them together on Being the Elite recently, and yeah,
unbelievable.
There was an incident where, I don't know, was it Anna Jay that pushed one of the guys off the ledge? Basically, she shoved one of the guys. I'm trying to think who it was, But one tried to say hey to Anna Jay, and Anna just pushed the poor dude, a wrestler, and he went over the railing and landed on the floor. And Tay looked at Anna like, what the heck? He's like, is that your way of saying that you like this guy? And Anna's like, no, what you talking about? I mean, no, whatever. And just kept on walking. I think there's something going on. I think she's got a crush on one of the wrestlers. I think it's part of the Dark Order. I think, I don't know. I'm kind of a little confused with the storyline. But you got to watch Being the Elite. If you watch Being the Elite, you know what I'm talking about, guys. It's entertaining. That's all I'm saying. It's really good stuff. So
definitely, but that's all I can say on this. This was 3 1/4, 3 1/2. This was definitely the second best fight of the night on this show. So there's not much more to say. MF,
main event,
the most anticipated main event probably since Moxley and Omega's title about 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, and here we go, guys. It is the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, along with Kenta of New Japan Pro Wrestling, going up against the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, and Jon Moxley. Kenta and Omega wins the match with a little bit of some help by the Good Brothers. 18 minutes and 33 seconds. Fight of the night. 4.5 stars. Incredible match. Could have gotten the 5 if it wasn't for the interference. If it wasn't for the interference, maybe we would be looking at 5. But 4.5 for me. The right team got over. Storyline wise, this was perfect. There's really nothing bad to say. And Kenta gets a leg up on Omega on Moxley as their match is heading very close to their U.S. heavyweight title fight very soon at New Japan Strong, which is going to be in Long Beach, California. So, Anthony, nothing more to say. Fight of the night, 4.5 stars, and a hell of a way to close out AEW tonight.
Positively, and before I go into my analysis, we got to have another funny moment here. MF, I know I don't need to remind you as we take another trip in our legendary Wayback Machine here, as we are the new Sherman and Peabody on this. Do I even need to remind you about the Great American Bash in 1996 when Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan fought in the women's bathroom? We all remember that.
Yes.
Dusty was like, "They're fighting in the women's bathroom."
Yep.
Well, I wish we could have brought Dusty back, because these 4 guys, they're fighting in the kitchen. They're fighting in the kitchen.
Yep. I feel so sorry for the concessions because and for the guys who normally cooks in that kitchen. Sorry guys. Tonight was not a good night for you guys.
Well, luckily there were no cooks in the kitchen, and thankfully there weren't too many either. But
yeah.
But nonetheless, MF, you're absolutely right. This was the fight of the night, hands down. It is 4.5 stars, but as much as I loved the match, and I did, and I saw the match live, even though this was a taped show, I do have to be brutally honest. I do have to throw in a couple of nitpicks here, I'm sorry to say. For some strange reason, AEW decided to air a recap of the first half of the match at the halfway point instead of sticking with the action. It took some of the momentum away from the wrestlers. As fun as all of the mayhem was, and it was, this match was overbooked. If you do everything in the first encounter, it doesn't leave anywhere for these guys to go in the future. The relationship with AEW and New Japan should excite fans because it means we will get to see stars like Kenta more often. He looked great in this match and came off like a legit contender, which is something WWE never managed to pull off with his Hideo Itami character. However, this was an entertaining fight, but it got to a point where they were just doing things for the sake of doing them. This is a rare instance where a match would have been better with 5 fewer minutes. But other than those nitpicks, this was a fun-ass match. I enjoyed it. I mean, me, I'm more of the technical guy, as well as Bullock, and MF, you and Derek. I mean, you guys love your hardcore, a la the old ECW, and man, and this was right up your guys' alley. I mean, I know you boys probably were going bonkers over this match. So, and rightfully so. Incredible. So a lot of great spots in this. I mean, I love the fighting in the kitchen. I mean, I was channeling my inner Dusty on that one. Like I said, with Benoit and Sullivan when they were fighting in the women's bathroom, this is fighting in the kitchen. I mean, unbelievable. So 4.5 stars. Definitely the fight of the night. And not much more to say. Let's get to our overall thoughts on this edition of AEW before we get into the big go-home edition of NXT.
All right, and you get to lead off, Florio, so it's yours.
Yes, sir. Let's see. It was kind of like what we saw Monday night on Raw. I would probably say it was about a 7 to 7.5. I mean, some of the things on here could have been better. But I'll tell you, I mean, we definitely, I mean, the main event, hands down, the fight of the night. The women are getting better. I mean, I think there's an opportunity. I think this women's tournament could finally be the shot in the arm that women's division really needs. I mean, we've been poo-pooing a lot on the women's division over the last year or so, and I think that, if they keep doing what they're doing with this tournament, I mean, great start with the match we had tonight, and if we get more matches like that throughout, AEW's women's division finally has the shot in the arm they should have had a long time ago. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the show. The wrestling in the ring may have left some to be desired, but honestly, nearly anything is better than some things. But after a basic run-of-the-mill AEW episode and it's a pretty below average ones, I mean, they've returned to form with a Dynamite that was incredibly entertaining for the most part. So I would probably go 7.5 to 8. 7.5 to 8. I'm going to go with 7.5 to 8, mainly because of the main event. So, not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it 7.5. I thought it was really good. There's really nothing more for us to add on this one. So, yeah, we're just gonna move right on along. Yes, it is time for NXT, and guys, this was it. The go home, like you said. This was the go home show for the NXT Takeover Vengeance Day that goes down this Sunday night on Valentine's. All right, so first off, semifinal of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic for the men. It was Wesley and Nash Carter. MSK, they went up against Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. And yeah, MSK wins it. They advance to the finals. 9 minutes and 34 seconds. Good match. Solid opener. 2.5 to 3 for me. Good tag team action. And the right team went over. I'm happy with it. MSK now in the finals. And they are one win away from earning an NXT World Tag Team title shot, because the winners of the Dusty Classic automatically gets a title shot at the NXT titles. So they're one win away. They could do it. It's very possible. We'll wait and see who their opponents are. But Anthony, already the finals is already shaping up to be really good.
Absolutely. And how awesome is it to see these guys? I mean, MSK, formerly Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier, known as the Rascals from Impact Wrestling. What, about a month or two ago, these guys were trying to find their groove in Impact Wrestling, and now look at what NXT has done. They are one win away from winning the Dusty Cup. I mean, who would have thought these guys would end up winning this? Could end up winning this thing. I mean, who would have thunk that? But This was great. 3 to 3.25 stars for me. MSK continued to find their groove in NXT. While Lee and Carter were talented before they came to WWE, it can often take time to adjust to a new wrestling style. The team feels unique, but also already familiar working with some of the best NXT has to offer. This was a great match between two motivated teams with much to prove. The action was nonstop with plenty of great spots throughout. Some things MSK did in this match are completely unique to WWE. Mendoza and Wilde did not look out of their depth keeping up. These teams should both be in the tag team title picture after this tournament, especially with so many teams reaching new heights. It is worth considering another multi-team title ladder match soon. So let's keep that in mind. I'm actually gonna go 3.25 to 3.5 on this because this was a hell of a way to start it off. I watched this live. This was great. So I'm rooting for these guys, man. I mean, former Impact guys. I mean, I'm rooting for them. I would love to see these guys, get the big rub on Sunday night. But will they? We'll talk about that on Friday night when we do our preview show following our SmackDown review. So not much more to say on this. 3.25, 3.5. MF. I know we had a cutout here, but get into that, and then we'll get into the next relevant match, and I'll start off on it.
Yeah, it was Xia Li versus Cora Jade. Xia Li won the match in 45 seconds. That was the one that we gotta throw out. Then the next thing we had was, okay, this needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Because we had an elephant in the room earlier in the day. Anthony Floyo dropped a nuke on us and said that, well, bad news, boys. We just lost the match. Apparently, Johnny Gargano had suffered an injury because of the little interaction that he had with Kushida last week, that unfortunately Gargano was unable to compete on Sunday night, and basically Austin Theory said that it was Kushida's it was Kushida's fault. He was responsible for what just happened, and that they were going to address this on NXT tonight. Well, everything broke down where Kushida, and where I guess you could say Kushida, Gargano, and Theory kind of more or less, yeah, it looked like you could smell there was a rat. Something wasn't right. And Anthony, yeah, something wasn't right about this.
I say so. He was faking.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read the article that I sent you all, if you had read the article cover to cover, it said that NXT and WWE had not addressed it. They had not, put out a formal response of their own.
Yeah.
So that's why they had the angle. Johnny tried to weasel his way out of it because of the fact that he knows in his heart he can't beat the man. So that's why he came up with this let's just say phony arm injury. I could have gone the Bret Hart WrestleMania 13 route, but I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
But that's exactly but you know where I'm going.
No. I know where you're going with that.
I'm okay.
No.
That's okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah, we all know the legendary moment before, the match at WrestleMania 13, the title match with Taker and Sid. Bret Hart came out and did his little knock on Shawn Michaels and, phony arm injury.
Yeah.
For that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
But channeling my inner Bret Hart, it was a phony arm injury. He got caught with his arm in the cookie jar by Mr. Regal, and no worries, folks. The match is on. The match is on. We're gonna get it. Johnny Gargano, Kushida, North American Championship match on Sunday night as part of TakeOver Vengeance Day. So, not much more to say on that. But let's get into a big moment here. Mr. Regal, after this next match, dropped another bomb. But then again, this was a bomb that we kind of had a feeling was going to happen. but it's official.
Well, it is official. So, um, basically, the next thing that we had on the card was we had the Way. It was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell semi-final match against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Of course, the winners of this one advances to the finals. They will take on Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and when it was all said and done, the winners. And moving on to the finals to take on Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, it is gonna be Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Oh no, the tank is gonna be at Vengeance Day. Oh, well, good match. Solid fight. At the time, you could say fight of the night. And yeah, this was great. 3.5 stars for me. The right team went over. Well done. Congratulations. And more importantly, for Ember and Shotzi, now you got a tough opponent in the final. Raquel and Dakota.
Positively.
That's going to be a match, man. But Ember Moons has tasted the WWE spotlight. Shotzi was just in the Royal Rumble, if I remember correctly, this year.
That's right.
So the tank showed up. Well, no, she didn't bring the tank to the Thunderdome. But it's possible. Remember, the winners of this tournament gets to fight for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So we're gonna have history made. Somebody's gonna get the chance of a lifetime to fight. Maybe. Now here's the question: does the champions come to NXT, or will the winners have to go to them on a future Raw, a future SmackDown, maybe a pay-per-view?
Chamber.
Possible.
But let's not forget, MF. Let's not forget. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they are the champions, and they are exclusive to Monday Night Raw. And they already have number one contenders in place, the randomly thrown together tag team of Naomi and Lana.
Yes.
So I'm sure Naomi and Lana are going to get the first
They probably will have to get the first shot, yes.
The first dibs. Top priority. They'll probably get the first opportunity, and then Ember and Shotzi will get their shot. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them on a Monday Night Raw. I would certainly welcome it. A pay-per-view. I mean, that would be a big moment for them. Or could Nia and Shayna go back to NXT? I mean, we've seen the women's tag team champions fight on NXT television before. I mean, Asuka and Kairi Sane as part of the Kabuki Warriors when I believe that was against Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, if I'm not mistaken. And most recently, Shotzi Blackheart and I forgot who her partner was at the time. When they challenged Sasha Banks and Bayley. So it's been done, but we'll have to wait and see. But MF, what was the time of that fall, if you have it?
It was 14 minutes and 19 seconds.
3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, these women brought everything to this contest, and it showed. Candice LeRae carried the physical side of this encounter and allowed Indy Hartwell to get in some impressive moments in the biggest match of her career. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are good together and continue to improve as a unit. With Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez winning last week, the only challengers to the heels that made sense were Moon and Blackheart. Despite this, the women nearly sold the idea that LeRae and Hartwell would pull it out. The women's final is the absolute best matchup the first women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic could have produced. Either team could make a major impact against the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So we're waiting to see. 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. I would probably, on my scorecard, probably call this the second best fight of the night. I thought one match was better. I think you know where I'm going with this, MF, so not much more to say. Let's move on to the next match.
And that one was Kushida going one-on-one with Austin Theory. Kushida wins the match via disqualification at 8 minutes and 39 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
It's going to have to be an NA here.
Agreed.
However, Austin Theory continues to improve with serious competition. Kushida made him look good by competing with him at a high level. Kushida looked like the better man, but Theory stayed in the fight and never looked weak. In fact, Johnny Gargano was the one that looked weak, tapping out to Kushida in fear. This has been a fun rivalry, and Gargano has truly shined in his new role. He has fully committed to his ridiculous persona. No one in NXT is funnier than the Rebel Heart right now. It was obvious he was faking the arm injury, but that did not stop the segment getting more ridiculous with every passing minute. He has made Kushida look unstoppable. Whether the challenger wins at TakeOver or not, it will be interesting to see what happens between them at TakeOver and what possible role that Dexter Lumis will have. Think about that for a minute. So, if I had to give it a rating, I would have given it around 2.5 to 3, but because of the throwaway finish, it's going to have to be an NA. So, MF, your thought.
Agreed. NA, nothing more to say. We're just going to move right on along. Next up, main event of the evening, as it is the Grizzled Young Veterans going up against Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. The Grizzled Young Veterans are going to the finals. They will be fighting MSK. They knocked off Ciampa and Thatcher at 11 minutes and 37 seconds. I cannot believe that happened. I am absolutely stunned right now. That is an upset in my mind because I had Thatcher and Ciampa winning the tournament, and now they're gone. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that just happened. Big win for the Grizzled Young Vets, and now they are one win away from realizing their dream and fighting for the NXT Tag Team titles. What a final that's gonna be, though. The Grizzled Young Vets versus MSK? I mean, you're talking young and up-and-coming tag team in MSK against two good stalwart type wrestlers that's been in NXT for a good amount of time. So they got their just due. This is a huge moment for them. Anthony, this was at least 3.5 to 3.75. You could say close to 4. But oh my god, I cannot believe they pulled the trigger on this. The Grizzled Young Veterans are going to the finals of the Dusty Classic. Wow.
For the second year in a row. And I'm going to surprise you, MF, when I say I kind of had a feeling. I mean, these guys were so close to winning it last year, but they gave it to the randomly thrown together tag team of Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, the Broserweights. And, but anyways, 3.75 to 4 stars. This was the fight of the night. This was pure tag team excellence on display as the heels divided and conquered. It was an incredible performance from the Grizzled Young Veterans, and Tommaso Ciampa was fantastic in his babyface comeback for the team. Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher found a great dynamic together. The two should continue to work together going forward. Even if they lost, this is a team that can absolutely work a fantastic match with the current NXT Tag Team Champions Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. With MSK making it to the finals, Grizzled Young Veterans had to rise to meet them. The two established tag teams needed to be in the finals over any others. I can't wait to see this go down, and we'll talk more about this on Friday nights. So not much more to say. 3.75 to 4, fight of the night. And I gotta say, MF, by a smidge, I think NXT had the better show tonight.
I agree. I think there was only one bad match, and that was the Xia Li match. But if you notice, there's a little bit of a rivalry that's starting to brew a little bit. Caden Carter and Casey Kazutaro basically went after Xia Li, saying, "Girl, what's wrong with you? What is going on? What's all this?" And the two lovelies got jumped.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why Casey and Caden didn't go on to win the women's tournament, because it looks like they're going to have Xia Li's new friends and her possibly feuding with them. Now, this could be pretty interesting in a women's tag situation. I just feel like they kind of dropped the ball with Casey and Caden, but if they're going to give her this type of storyline, this could be interesting, because Xia Li, I don't know how to feel about this new attitude, new story with her and these guys. But it's really interesting. I was, when I saw the vignettes, I was really intrigued, and now I'm like, how are they gonna play this? Other than that, the rest of the show was amazing. The rest of the show delivered. The two Dusty Classic semifinals on the men's side were awesome. The women's semifinal was great, and at least we can say, okay, it looked like they were trying to pull our leg, but Kushida versus Gargano is happening. Thank God. Because, God, that would have stunk if we would have lost that fight on Sunday. That would have hurt the show. Remember when we lost the Fight Pit, and that kind of hurt the Halloween Havoc edition of no, it wasn't Halloween Havoc. What was the NXT special with Dexter Lumis?
The New Year's Evil?
The New Year's Evil. And yeah. Remember how that show suffered because we lost the Fight Pit?
Absolutely. It totally did.
It did. Because it would have easily beaten AEW. Unfortunately, that cost the night for us, and we gave AEW the victory on the New Year's episodes because of the fact that we lost the Fight Pit. And then when we did get the Fight Pit, oh, I'm in heaven.
Awesome.
So this was a really good show. Great way to close the road heading into to Vengeance Day. And there's really nothing more to say. This was easily 8 out of 10 for me. Anthony, it's yours.
Definitely. 8 to 8.5. No, I think 8's the proper rating. I think 8.5 is a little too steep. As usual, NXT delivers a very good show. I really enjoyed the first hour with 2 tag matches, mostly. The second half did slip a little bit, but still did what it had to do. And all the Dusty Cup matches delivered. All 3 of them delivered. We all knew they would. Throw in a solid Kushida Theory match, and there were 2 things on the show that really, took the show down a peg. The Xia Li squash was one, and that stupid segment with Cameron Grimes. But other than that, everything else was great. One bad match, one bad segment, and then everything else delivered. So that's a solid 8, no question about it. It definitely left us. Our excitement level for this event on Sunday night has definitely gone sky high, no question about it. All 5 matches on the card all have potential to be show stealers, but that main event on Vengeance Day, that's got 5 written all over it easily. So there's not much more to say. Now, MF, when it comes to tomorrow night, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, but we can't talk about all of it in one night. We gotta plan this out properly.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we have 2 deaths to acknowledge. You already know about the sudden passing of Pedro Gomez,
Yep.
the ESPN baseball reporter, and someone I had a very immense respect for, considering I'm the baseball guy here. A lot of my analysis, was catered to his abilities. I mean, I learned a lot from him, and that definitely hit close to home for me. And the other big death, obviously, from the NFL, Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty Schottenheimer, yeah.
He passed away. So we'll pay our respects to both of them. Of course, the big trade in the NFL, Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff with new homes. The big trade with Detroit and LA, we'll get into that. Some other baseball news, Nolan Arenado going to St. Louis, big for them. And, we'll address that. And of course, our big double main event, NFL Honors, the recap of NFL Honors, and of course, the main event, the recap of the Super Bowl. Other stories to keep an eye on for future shows, such as Major League Baseball making their decision about this upcoming season.
Yep.
We'll definitely address that.
Basically, what we'll do is we'll do that on the next episode, so the week after, because there's the Major League Baseball announcement. So yes, we're going to get into that. We also got also got some breaking news that just came through the wire.
If it's about the Benintendi thing, let me tell
you
something.
I was about to get into that. Yeah.
Let me. I should have mentioned this in the messenger. I actually had a little help in finding that message. I didn't find that on my own. I want to give a special shout out to our dear friend Ryan Abedizian. He's the one who reported it, so we got to credit him with that.
All right, so we're gonna do that, and we got that going. So, oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot going on,
Definitely, and another story that we need to address next week. New York Governor Chris Cuomo making the big announcement that New York sports teams are going to be allowing fans, and that means, MF, in a few weeks, our New York Rangers are going to have limited fans in Madison Square Garden. How about it?
Yeah, that's what we about two. From what I heard, it's supposed to be 2,000 fans. That's going to be the start.
In 2 weeks.
So in 2 weeks, and believe it or not, it's the Boston Bruins we got to deal with, and they're gonna be the ones that's gonna get the fan. They're the ones that's gonna get the fans. And speaking of tonight with the Bruins, man, what a game! Yeah, I'm a little ticked that we lost, but we ended up getting a point. We got a point out of it.
As long as we get a point.
Hey, point's good. Point is good.
Anything.
We'll take it.
I'd rather would have had the 2, but
obviously.
But it is what it is.
But we got a point, so that's all that matters. We got a point out of it.
Yep, and the Yankees are going to have fans too.
Yep.
So we're going to have fans in the stadium for the first time since the 2019 season. So, which I think is great, and that could definitely help the Yanks out, no doubt about it. So, all New York teams, and that also includes the Knicks as well. The Knicks will have fans in the Garden on the 23rd when they welcome the Golden State Warriors.
And actually, I just found this out because I don't know if we even talked about this, but we should get into this. The NBA is talking about doing the All-Star game. So that was talked about. Now, listen to this. This just broke, and this is about 5 hours ago. The NBA dunk contest could possibly happen during halftime of this year's All-Star game.
Really?
Really?
Wow. That would be whoa. That would be something. And also Saturday, this Saturday, February 13th at 12:30 on CBS. They're doing a big bracket preview special. So we're going to get an early look at what the 2021 tournament bracket is going to look like at this moment. And maybe we could talk about that on the next show. And also, They also announced the start times for the days and times of all the tournament games for the NCAA tournament. I broke that story in our Strictly Sports Messenger this afternoon. So the times have
It's
been announced.
it's
And then
going to be a long day for these games. And on top of that, what makes this even crazier, a lot of the games are on the weekends. So,
Friday to Monday.
yeah, that's unheard of.
Monday tournament games. How about that? Not just the championship game. Only the championship game would be on the Monday, but no, we're gonna have first and second round games, and I think even some other games on Monday in prime time. Oh my gosh, that's gonna counteract with Raw.
Yeah.
Raw, you're in trouble now, baby, with the ratings. Oh, you thought you had a problem with Monday Night Football. Oh, honey.
March Madness, and it's going to run. Oh, my God. I mean, yeah, that's crazy because normally, and everybody remembers because it's always Thursday, Friday would be the early round games, and then Saturday, Sunday would be the next round. Oh no! This time around,
you're going Thursday.
First four starts on Thursday. Friday is round one. Saturday is also round one on the other side of the bracket.
Correct.
Then you got Sunday is round two on one side, and round two on Monday on the other side. Then we do it all over again. Mm-hmm. So think about that. Sweet 16 on Friday and Saturday. Well, Sweet 16 on Friday and Saturday. Elite 8 on Sunday and Monday.
Mm-hmm. And then the Final Four will be in the traditional Saturday spot.
Yep.
And then the championship game will be in the traditional Monday night slot.
Where and just to let you guys know, before everybody starts freaking out, what's happening? All the tournament games will be held in Indianapolis. They're going to use every single university, arena, and yes, Lucas Oil Stadium will be the. Eventually, they're going to use all the tournament formats, so all the arenas, all of the reunion, the arena for Indianapolis,
I have it right here. I have the full list right here.
Yeah, Butler University, Indiana,
the house. Yep. Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yep.
The Mackey Arena where Purdue plays. They'll have games. IUPUI, the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, they're going to have games.
Yep.
And but of course, the two big ones, obviously, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, formerly Conseco Fieldhouse, the home of the Pacers, they're going to get some games. And of course, the championship game, well, Lucas Oil Stadium will also host the early round games, but they will also have the. Oh, wait a minute. Oh wow, they're gonna have the regional finals. They're gonna have the regional final games on the dates are different. Monday, March 29th and Tuesday, March 30th are the Elite Eight games.
I think what I heard is they're gonna use the Bankers, what I call the Conseco Fieldhouse. That will probably be one of the semifinals. I think they're gonna have both semifinals over there.
Not necessarily. The Mackey Arena where Purdue is and the Assembly Hall in Bloomington, that's going to be those are the two host sites for the first four games on March the 18th on the Thursday.
Yeah.
First round Friday the 19th and Saturday the 20th. Those same two arenas, Mackey Arena and Assembly Hall. Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, home of Butler, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, home of IUPUI, and Lucas Oil Stadium. We'll have first round games, and then for the second round on the 21st and the 22nd, the Sunday and Monday, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Lucas Oil Stadium, and then for the Sweet 16 games on Saturday the 27th and Sunday the 28th, Bankers Life Fieldhouse and Hinkle Fieldhouse will host those, and then Lucas Oil Stadium from Elite 8 on. They will have.
Wow.
Yep, Lucas Oil Stadium will host the two Elite Eight games on Monday the 29th and Tuesday the 30th. And then Lucas Oil Stadium will also have the Final Four, the national semifinals on Saturday the 3rd, and the national title game Monday, April 5th, all on the mothership, CBS.
Wow.
How about that?
How about that? And to think, if this is true, because you never know, because I know there's a lot of rumors going around, could this be Jim Nance's last time being the lead commentator for the NCAA tournament?
That's right. That's
you remember that? Remember that report that we got? Yeah. Apparently,
ESPN is interested in him.
ESPN, because there's been a little bit of some problems with the contract negotiations between Jim Nance and CBS.
He wants Romo money.
Yeah.
He wants that Tony Romo money. That's what he wants.
And quite frankly, he deserves it.
Agreed.
For everything that he does, he deserves it. He's the voice of
the NFL.
Of the NFL.
The Masters.
Yep.
The PGA when football's over. And college hoops. Not just the tournament, but he also does some regular season games as well.
Oh yeah,
and, with Grant Hill and Bill Raftery. So, but yeah, and I agree. I mean, he's been there 30 plus years.
30 plus years. So I mean, my goodness,
that's my boy.
His first Final Four as lead commentator was 1991.
A year that you hold, I know that's a year you hold deep in your heart, MF.
Yeah,
that's a special place in your heart because that was where your Dookie dynasty began.
Yeah,
the Dookies. That was when their dynasty started.
So we got a lot to talk about, folks. As you notice, we got a lot. You know what? Normally, this is the time of the year where sometimes content gets a little rough for us when it comes to sports because we don't know how it's going to go, especially summertime. We really have a tough time trying to cover, get a lot of stories to do a show. Right now, this is a great time for sports because there's a lot of content that we're working through. So we are busy for the next. So we got plenty of content for the next few episodes.
Yeah. So here's the final blueprint for tomorrow. We'll pay our respects to Pedro Gomez and Marty Schottenheimer because they deserve it. And the Goff and Stafford trade, we'll get into that. The Arenado trade to St. Louis, we'll address that. And then we'll go into the NFL honors, everything that went down in NFL honors, and then wrap it up with the Super Bowl. And then we'll figure out the other stories for the coming weeks.
All right, so we're going to do that 10:30 Eastern tomorrow, guys. For Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.